What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about why DECA is more harmful to the heart than testosterone. So if you see my DECA only videos, you'll probably already know the answer to this. If you haven't, I compel you to watch those, but also this is sort of just a study that kind of reinforces the conclusions I came to in those videos. It's a lot of extrapolation at the end of the day. There's no way you can conclusively say this is what happens, but this is just my theories, and I feel they are well supported by the abundance of literature that kind of backs what happens during estrogen deprivation. So this study is called Long-Term Treatment with Nandrolone Decanoate Impairs Mesenteric Vascular Relaxation in Both Sedentary and Exercise Rats. So in this one, I'm gonna read the abstract and then kind of give you guys a summary of it rather than dig through the whole thing for you. I'm gonna give you kind of my overview of exactly what happened so you don't have to go with this start to finish. If you want to check out the details and more delve into it further yourself, I compel you to check it out. This is the title, like I said. Abstract: Nandrolone decanoate is an anabolic androgenic steroid that under abusive regimen can lead to multiple physiological adverse effects. Studies of anabolic androgenic steroid mediated cardiovascular alterations were mostly taken from male subjects, even though women are also susceptible to the effects of AAS and gender specific differences in susceptibility to vascular diseases exist. Here we investigated nandrolone-induced vascular reactivity alterations in both sedentary and exercise female rats and whether those alterations depend on endothelium-derived factors. We show that chronic exposure of female Wistar rats to nandrolone decanoate 20 milligrams per kilogram per week for 4 weeks impaired the vascular mesenteric bed reactivity to vasodilator acetylcholine agonist. The endothelium-dependent nitric oxide component was reduced in nandrolone decanoate-treated rats, whereas neither the endothelium-derived hyperpolarizing factor component nor prostanoids were altered in the MVBs, the vascular mesenteric bed. Endothelial dysfunction observed in nandrolone decanoate-treated rats was associated with decreased eNOS and AKT, phosphorylation sites, and upregulation of iNOS and NADPH oxidase expression. Exercise training by weightlifting in water did not improve the vascular alterations induced by nandrolone decanoate treatment. Nandrolone decanoate treatment also significantly reduced the serum levels of estradiol in females, overriding its cardiovascular protective effect. These results help uncover the role of nandrolone decanoate modulating endothelium function in the settings of cardiovascular disease caused by the abuse of anabolic androgenic steroids in females. If this translates to humans, young women abusing anabolic androgenic steroids can potentially lose the cardioprotective effects rendered by estrogen and be more susceptible to cardiovascular alterations. So basically the study showed that chronic use of nandrolone induces endothelial dysfunction, which alters vascular responsiveness via a pathway that involves nitric oxide, the pathway of nitric oxide, and possibly increased oxidative stress. So the model here proposed that we can see, it's similar to what happens in androgen deficiency rodent models. It's like the exact same kind of thing you see in those studies in terms of the outcome, like what is actually causing the cardiovascular disease. So rather than assuming it's the anabolic androgenic steroid itself, it appears that in this study in particular, the way in which the cardiovascular issues rear their ugly head essentially is through the deprivation of estrogen, at least when you compare it to other rodent models where they're evaluating estrogen deficiency. Like when you see, women, the cardiovascular risk skyrockets once they go into menopause. Prior to that, the rate of heart disease is like so minimal in contrast to right when they hit menopause, all of a sudden it goes through the roof. And what is the cause of this? Well, there's a lot of theories, but most, believe based on the abundance of literature that it's the complete, shutdown of, like, obviously testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone are all important, but the estrogen is what facilitates this nitric oxide pathway. I've sort of outlined this in some of my other posts, like testosterone is not neuroprotective, estrogen is. If you haven't checked that out, I'll put a card in the thing. I highly recommend you check that out as well. And it basically outlines how the aromatization to estradiol is what, causes cardioprotection and neuroprotection rather than what was assumed to be the testosterone itself prior to, digging into the research and seeing what happens pre and post administration of an aromatase inhibitor. So here we can see this model of estrogen deprivation relative to nandrolone decanoate exposure being very similar in the cardiovascular outcomes in a deleterious context. So what is the takeaway from that? It's essentially that, well, I guess if you're going to use nandrolone, you need a base of estrogen, in my opinion. And that's at least based on my personal experience, my own digging into blood work, finding that the spike in estrone it creates is not even close to enough to activate ER to the extent where which it would, induce the cardio and neuroprotection we're looking for that we would normally get from 17 beta estradiol. And then downstream, even if you try to, look at the backdoor pathway of estrone to estradiol, the amount of conversion is so minute that it's like almost irrelevant at the end of the day. So what is, basically be careful using Nandrolone. You need either a test base or when I say a test base, I mean a source of estrogen, like an adequate source of estrogen, not, some hormone that like barely converts or something that on paper, you think converts at half the rate of testosterone, like EQ or something, but in actual practical application, doesn't seem to be the case at all. So be careful with your stuff, be careful with your combinations and your hormone use and your protocols, and just be aware of what this stuff actually does, like cross-reactivity in assays, like inaccurate assays in blood work that show things converting to estradiol when they're actually like cross-detecting estrogen analogs that are like weak as shit as estradiol, or cross-detecting estrone and artificially inflating your estradiol blood test results because you're getting electrochemiluminescence radioimmunoassay blood test results instead of high sensitivity testing. This kind of stuff you need to know about before you start haphazardly using anabolics. So keep that in mind. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates4days.com. Comment. Helps the algorithm here, so your comments are much appreciated. They're pretty funny too sometimes. Like some of the, like Al Gore rhythm is a pretty funny one. Or Al Gore has a rhythm I see all the time. What else? Follow Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Did I already say that? I don't even know. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. You actually follow me there though, because I'm trying to build it up so it's like they sort of like match, you know what I mean? Rather than just have like everyone on one platform and then not be diversified at all. So one of these days, maybe Facebook will stop sucking and then, I'll have some people will actually watch the videos there too. So follow me there, Instagram, whatever. Apple Podcasts, drop a 5-star rating, helps the algorithm there. If you want to listen to me in the car, I also recommend you subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, because you won't burn through your data when you're listening in the car or, at the gym or whatever. If your Wi-Fi is shitty at the gym you go to, stuff like that. It's useful to have the subscription to the audio only. If you want to support the channel, check out anything I'm associated with, video description below, my TRT clinic. If you are seeking testosterone replacement therapy or hormone optimization in any context that compel you to reach out to them, have the patient care coordinators look over your situation, pull your bloods, evaluate them with you, go over them A to Z, see if you have any imbalances or deficiencies that warrant addressing. Your consult with the doctor will be done over Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever's convenient for you. It's all telemedicine. So from the comfort of your own home, you can get your health status assessed. And then if your current health status warrants medication at that point, then you can save $50 off your first order with the coupon code MPMD50. If you want to support Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode, my nootropic and pre-workout formulas, I compel you to try those as well. My nootropics are pretty much, in my opinion, the best formulas in the industry for cognitive enhancement, mental clarity, focus, energy, productivity, especially, and creativity. If you're somebody who works long hours on a computer or, you have to cram for exams, stuff like that, anything productivity related, I highly recommend the nootropics. And pre-workout formulas, obviously self-explanatory. What those do, I literally sit on a Word document, write these formulas from scratch myself, so you know it's me behind them. And not some, like private label manufacturer who has like some stock formula that they're giving that has a high margin. I literally overpay so much for these formulas because they're so potent. I compel you to just take your current pre, check the label, compare it to the label on mine. You'll quickly see why I am so adamant that you should switch. So if you want to support that, that's a no-brainer in my opinion too. If you are somebody who uses a pre-workout, anything else I'm associated with, video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.